Greetings and salutations. Welcome to episode 82 of Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner. Is it 81? We're 81. On 81, aren't we? 81. Yeah. I can't count.
Well, last you get time you thought it was 78.
Yeah,
TO episode.
Yeah, we're past. Yet we're in the TO. There's got to be a better 81 for us to reference than TO.
Calvin Johnson.
I'll take Megatron. I'm
sure
there's a.
I was going to say Ocho Cinco, but that doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it does not. Does not make sense.
Early in his career, I think he was 81.
No, that was TJ Hushmazada was 81.
Oh, yeah.
Hushmazada was 84.
Was he 84?
Yeah.
Someone was 81 on that
biggest
Cincinnati
minutia in history.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
No one cares.
I love it.
People are not joining us for that. They do join us live every Wednesday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We've already got a hopping chat. Let's talk to our people who are in the chat here. We got Yam, Doug, Tommy T, EP. We got Tanner, Shady Katie in the house. Grayson is also there. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on already. We've got a live show for you here, not just live in person, but some great action we're going to be talking about as our man Trev was at training camp. He was live tweeting for some of it and then just got home and dumped a whole bunch of content on our Twitter page there.
Can I just say one time real quick, Trev? Yeah. I'd stand up, but I'd be out of the picture. Bravo. Well done with the content today, Trev.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It was hard. 5G was spotty up there. Then
yeah, the connection. I wasn't surprised you waited to the till you got home to dump, because I'm surprised you're able to get anything while you're out there. During the game, we are going to be talking about Sam Mills, his firing, Carson's up and down camp, Curtis Samuel's practice, no practice, and first depth chart that was released. We'll also go into the preseason game there. We'll hit a grab bag for the cool down. Tommy T was following. He said, "Great job, Trev." Anyone else still catching grief from delusional Eagles fans about Wentz versus Hurts? There's some grief. There's some Commanders fans that love Hurts more than they love Wentz. It's it's just crazy. Crazy. Let's talk about your journey though. So you're coming from Lexington. You might know the location there if you're one of our fans, because you can go to the Sky Bar in Lexington, one of our sponsors that Trev owns. But Trev, how was the journey up there? I saw the note that traffic was awful.
Yeah, right when I was like 20 minutes away, hitting the home stretch, traffic decided to slow down like 20 miles per hour. Never came to a complete stop, so I was thankful for that. But still, like, gates open at 8. I was late for that. Practice starts at 9. I want to be there when practice starts, But I was there like 9:05, 9:07, something like that.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nah, it was cool. I live about 2.5 hours away from Ashburn, so that was my journey this morning. Got up at 5:30, lay there till like 6, and then decided to get up and hit the road. Spent a ton of money in gas. Not gonna lie, that's all I spent money on today was gas. I didn't get any concessions. I didn't buy any gear because I asked you guys earlier this week about gear, and you guys were like, "Yeah, it's gear there, but it's hella expensive.
Like $40 to $50 a t-shirt."
You see this?
Yeah,
$33, my.
Oh no! But that's not.
It's nice.
That's 20% off military discount. $33.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I just spent money in gas.
I mean, that's price of being a fan.
You're right.
That's why originally when I thought the people who were mad about Redskins fans being upset of the name change, it's because they've spent tens of thousands of dollars to equip everything that they own, their man caves or women caves and vehicles and all that stuff and all this Redskins gear, and now it's all basically obsolete. So that's why they're all upset, because of the cost of everything. That's just the cost of being a fan, right?
Yeah. I just don't understand it though. It's just like you get to keep the burgundy and gold. That part didn't change. It doesn't matter if it says Redskins, Washington football team, or Commanders, as long as it's all burgundy and gold. And there's some teams that don't even get that.
True.
But it's weird. Now, Trev.
Yeah.
You brought up, did they have concessions there? You
They
were
did.
talking earlier about
this,
how there's a VIP section in like the non-VIP section.
Because Trev, they didn't have it when Nathan and I were there. There were no concessions.
There's no VIP and no concessions.
Yeah.
So on the side, the close field side, there was a wood-fired pizza place selling wood-fired pizza, some kind of strawberry whipped cream dessert. I saw a kid walk by holding one. I was like, I bet that was like $20.
But it was good though.
Probably, but the whipped cream was melting, and he had to walk all the way from like here to there. So it was like, bro, just stand still and eat it because it's not going to make it by the time you get there. But
right.
And then on the opposite side, where like of the pathway that the players walk up to get autographs into practice, was the VIP. So in order to literally cross over the path, you had to be VIP to go enjoy the AC tent, probably the bottled waters, all the other things that are going on over there. So that kind of sucked, but it was still cool to be there and witness all the boys in action today. No pads today, shells, which is fine, understandable. They got pads coming on Saturday for the preseason game, so
it's also hot as all get.
Oh my god,
hot, right?
Hot's not even the word. Like I'm still sweating from.
I tell you what, Jen King's out there wearing long sleeve.
De'Ami Brown was wearing an Aaron Rodgers turtleneck today. I'm not even kidding. It was short sleeve, but it was white, and I was like, "Is De'Ami okay?" And that's when I tweeted out, "I'm here for that." Like,
well, maybe he's hoping to appeal to Aaron Rodgers so he can get a trade and get some playing time because he ain't getting it here.
De'Ami?
He ain't getting it here, my friend.
We'll get to that in a minute. Hold on. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute.
Shout out to DMV Mess Hall. He says, Dagger Man, I would have given you my VIP pass. Ted, thanks for jumping in the chat here with us. Tailgate Ted folks. Make sure
it's
you
good running into you, Ted.
Yeah, their content, DMV Mess Hall. Subscribe to their channel and catch some of that. Tailgate's got some good inside dishes.
Listen, can I give you a little secret about Ted? That man is connected, okay? So if you ever need anything, like he just said, he can hook you up, Trev. Just give him a holler, and he's a very benevolent fellow as well. We made that connection
today, so now I'm going to have to follow up on that. So
yeah. All right, Trev, let's get into the actual football action.
What up?
People didn't come to hear about the pizza and melting, items. They came to hear about the football. Where was the action today? Because Stoner and I got kind of stonewalled where everything was on the far field as far as the drills. Same for you?
Drills was close up. Running back drills, a couple of tight end routes, and then some quarterback wide receiver work down there. And then that all moved to the far field where they commenced the 7-on-7, 9-on-9, 11-11s. And then on the close field, that's when Joey Sly came and kicked the couple by himself, and then the quarterbacks over there doing some work without the ball while they were doing other stuff on the far field. But then towards like 10 o'clock, 10:15 on, it was far field 11-11s. I did happen to see a bomb. I don't know if anybody follows Zach Selby or other beat writers, but they caught this bomb too. It was 35 yards. Wins to Terry McLaurin, of course, down the sideline. Bobby McCain covering, dropped it right in the breadbasket. Terry had room to run afterwards too. Like you can sense the chemistry is really starting to show, and it's awesome to see how far it's come. Like 2 weeks. I mean, Terry missed all of OTAs, went out to a mini camp with Carson Wentz, and then hit training camp, and now it's already like in sync, running around, flying around. I'm not mad at that situation at all anymore, at all. It seems like this is his MO. I think maybe he kind of did this in Carolina too when he's banged up, is what I'm sensing. Because the plan that they have in place for him, practice a couple of days, rest a day. I mean, groin injury is nothing to play around with. So, and he's a Ferrari that we have that we need to get out of the garage and not keep in the garage. So it was nice to see him get some action. Dax Milne, I'm telling y'all, Dax Milne is making this roster as a wide receiver. Backup punt returner too. I mean, the kid his route running is ridiculous. I was a fan of that last year as a rookie. Like, he just didn't get much opportunity, and then also no shade, but it's amazing what these receivers can do when they have a competent quarterback throwing them the ball.
Sure,
you're hearing Dax Milne's name way more than Cam Sims' name, and he's been here forever. Yeah. You're hearing Dax Milne's name way more over so Alex Erickson and who else? AGG when he was here. So like,
Sure.
I'm just saying,
more than Kelvin Harmon.
I mean, Kelvin's like right there, right behind Dax.
Mm.
He's got good hands and he's a strong receiver. When he gets the ball, he ain't letting it go.
Well, let me ask you this, Trev. You said that you thought that Dax Milne would probably be backup punt returner. Yeah. Right. So that means you have to have a punt returner.
You do, and I think that's Alex Erickson.
So basically, you've got 7 receivers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They did that's what they did last year. Yeah. Right. With DeAndre Carter was. Yeah. If everybody's healthy, he's their 7th receiver.
Yep.
I don't know about that. I think it's either going to be Dax Milne is your punt returner, which is a scary thought in itself, or they're going to have to figure something else out because I don't know that they have the numbers for 7 receivers.
You get rid of Cam Sims. Thank you for your services the past few years.
So Dax Milne is wide receiver 5.
Wide receiver 5. You got Kelvin is 6 and Erickson is 7.
Well, you got the same problem. You still got 7 receivers.
Well, you got Erickson as punt returner only.
Right. That's taking up a roster spot from somewhere else.
That's fine.
What they want is that versatility that Ron always talks about, right?
Right.
Somebody who can do multiple things. So he can be a wide receiver 6 and the punt returner. Or he can be cornerback 5 and be the punt returner. Something to where you're not taking up a spot just for
we're taking up the spot.
Returner.
We didn't sign Alex Erickson for just a training camp body. We signed him to be a specialty, like a punt returner.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Maybe doesn't end that way. We will have a 53-man roster breakdown with some other of our Commanders content creators jumping in and giving us some of those. So we'll do a 53-man breakdown later as we get closer to cuts and everything. Did Carson Wentz have a good day? Because our man Stoner's been keeping track.
I
good days, bad days. Was today a good day for him? Because he's getting beat up in the national media. He's getting beat up. Even the local reports now are kind of starting to talk about inaccuracy and not necessarily having the best camp. So, but was today a good day?
I think today was a good day. He ended the 11-11 with a pick, and it was kind of his fault. He overthrew Terry. Bobby McCain picked it off. That was like the first pick he's had in like a long time. So there's that. But I mean, it's like you said, Nathan, if you want to throw picks and be inaccurate and inconsistent, get them out now. Like it's expected. I'm sure Tom Brady has the same day as Carson Wentz does. They just aren't as nitpicky as our fan base.
Or they're not as often.
Yeah, not as often, or not even worth reporting as our beat writers or as our organization likes to report. Like, speaking of Daryl Jackson, good day 100.
There's your guy Daryl.
He spotted me at camp today, recognized the polo I had on as rep the district, and he said he enjoyed the show. So shout out to
Appreciate you, Daryl. Appreciate you jumping in. And really cool. He concurs. Good day for Carson Wentz. Yeah. Stoner, what's that put the count at as far as good days, bad days?
So there have been 12 practices. Well, there's actually been 13, but one was just kind of a walkthrough, right? So there's been 12 practices. And believe it or not, I'm right there, 6 and 6.
Hey,
6 good days and 6 not good days. I'm not saying crappy days. I'm saying just not good days. And he had a bunch of them in a row. But it is all trending because at one point I was 1 good day, 5 bad days. So now what is that? It's 5 and 1 the other way.
Yeah.
Of the last 6. So he started off, and both can be true, right? It can be true that he is not completely accurate. He is struggling a little bit in camp, but it can also be true that means nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So he could actually turn that. He could actually turn that into having a bad season, but he can also turn it into having a good season. All of these things can be true, but we won't know the results, obviously, until we see it out on the field. But the national media is starting to pick up that he's not lighting it up. So what?
Oh, well.
So what?
So what?
You know what? It happens all the time. It's what we do.
Exactly.
We just need these games to get started.
Yes.
So we can see it,
so we can stop nitpicking.
Fire. That's right.
Hey, Nathan, your boy Samus Reyes, I will say this. he looks more of a tight end this season than he did last season. Not saying he'll make the squad. He might stick around on practice squad, honestly. I mean, he's putting in work. He's catching the ball. Like, he looks better, of course, than he did last year.
This is tight end 4. I know it means nothing, but we'll get to that in a little bit as far as that's concerned. Edmundo asks, how packed was it? You know, you said on Twitter there's a lot of people, but he's a people. Fan,
yeah, because that VIP just outside of the tent was probably like 40 people. Who knows what's up under the tent? It was really dark. I couldn't really see from where I was standing. And then my side had like maybe 30 people. It was a nice turnout. Really good turnout. Bunch of kids, people with the signs, Terry McLaurin signs, like our fan. It was so nice to see our fan base, like, and all the love that we give our players and all the players, all love the players give back to the fans on the way out and stuff. Like, it's just a really, 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 really good thing to see amongst all the dark clouds that we have above.
Still some excitement there. Yam asks, how many interceptions has Wentz thrown through training camp so far? He says he's question mark to 5. He threw 3 on the day that Stoner and I were there. So I'm gonna take the over on 5.
Yeah.
But
again, you can have it can be 15, but it doesn't mean that he's not. I mean,
you're going against the same players every single day. If they're gonna pick up on it, if they don't, then that's where the problem really happens. If your defense doesn't pick up on that's the problem.
New system, all this stuff. The defense is going to be ahead this early on in training camp, so a lot of that stuff makes sense why the defense is getting the better of the offense this early on. Trev, before we hit up the game, what's one more nugget you can give us from your experience at training camp?
I caught a Zach Selby treasure. Okay, if you guys don't know who that is, he is a Washington Commanders staff writer, and he is heavily involved in baked goods around the organization. He was walking out. I said, "What up, Zach?" He said, "Hey, what up?" and tossed me this treat, which I was gonna find out what it was today, but he ruined it on Twitter and said it was a honey biscuit, a biscuit with butter and honey. So I'm going to try it and give a quick review on it.
All right, let's see this. We need a drum roll. Do you have a drum? If you got that crappy drum roll, don't play that.
It's a little smush, but
don't play it. Let me see if I still have that. Let me.
That's the worst drum roll. And so, is it soft now? Is it supposed to be kind of crunchy, or is it supposed to be like a biscuit, like a sandwich biscuit?
Like a sandwich biscuit. He tossed it. It was already warm. I am. I'm so rude.
We need that.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up. We get an 8 out of 10 for Zach Selby's honey butter biscuit.
Oh, honey butter. Okay,
honey butter biscuit. 8 out of 10. All right, we're gonna get back to some of those questions here when we hit up the game, because we're gonna be talking about training camp and what we've been hearing right here on Ref the District. The game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 6 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running. Welcome back to the game. Yam is updating us here with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Says Wentz has not thrown another interception this week. And that article was updated just an hour ago. So,
except today. I mean, Trev just talked about one today.
Had that one, but that was so
okay.
But I think what Yam's talking about, and he can clarify in the comment section there for us, is today's interception was the only interception so far this week.
Okay. And it's fine. Again, if he has 15 interceptions or if he has 5,
throw him now.
And it's training camp. You might do some things over there where you're gonna throw some passes that you wouldn't throw in a game, trying some things, learning new receiver routes. So it's not a big deal until it is. And we won't know that until halfway through the year at best.
Saturday.
We probably won't even know Saturday. You know what I mean? He might throw 3 passes on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll talk about the preseason game in a little bit and how much we want the starters to actually play and everything like that. Since we're talking about Carson, he has had an up and down camp. It sounds like, Stoner, you're not too concerned about it. Trev, where do you fall in this? Is there a good something good that's going to come out of this, or do we think that maybe managing expectations is better?
I think managing expectations. We know who Carson Wentz is before the trade. We knew who he is when we got the trade, and we knew who he was when he signed the contract and hit the field for OTAs. He's the same Carson Wentz. The national media can drag him all they want to, but he has winning seasons. His interception to touchdown ratios are always not that bad, actually, if you just take a look at them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand new team, brand new offense, brand new system, brand new culture. Like, everything's brand new. The guy he's human. He's allowed to make mistakes. Like we just said in the last segment. If the defense is not causing interceptions or turnovers or inconsistencies, that's the bigger concern than the inconsistencies themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, it is what it is. I mean, it's Carson Wentz. He threw a left-handed pass in practice already, supposedly, like, earlier this week or last week. So, like,
yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's Carson Wentz. So, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no need to track interceptions during training camp because that's not even a stat. A legit stat.
Right,
so,
right.
like,
they don't keep stats.
No, let him
it'd be like throwing touchdowns, right? Like, he's thrown 30 touchdowns. There's going to be some of that, and
he's
Yam's
throwing
talking
bombs,
about Hurts
completing bombs. That's what you should actually be reporting about and happy about, not the slant interceptions he's throwing.
I think that some of these issues are going to get fixed. And I'm with you two on this one. It's training camp. This is where you're going to get the timing down, especially as a one. I don't think that others are getting a pass like Hurts or Daniel Jones. I've heard the bad reports about them.
I saw.
I have but there's some things that are we're just, because you're a Commanders fan, right? You're going to hear a lot more, right? You're tuned into when the national media talks about your team. You're tuned in to
defend it,
and you're going to get defensive over that. But I don't really buy into a lot of what the national media is saying, because a lot of them don't send anybody to the camp. They just kind of get some inkling from somewhere. It's kind of like the Barstool sharing the OTA video, right? Like that was just
it was like they have to practice today. That was months ago, bro. Like,
that's exactly right.
You're going to get some garbage takes from that. Now, some of the beat reporters are kind of and I know that a lot of people don't like our beat reporters because they think that they're negative. We particularly like our beat reporters here because they do give us that information. I don't think that they're necessarily negative, but they do have to cover the team as objectively as they're supposed to.
Yeah, they can't be fans.
And so they're going to talk about how there is, some inaccuracy stuff. I just ask that you actually look at their accounts. You'll see them post the good stuff. You're probably just focusing on the bad stuff. And I don't think Carson Wentz is really having that bad of a camp. Stoner, you said he's 6-6 at this point. Yam says that they updated the article and he hadn't thrown a pick in 6 straight practices. So know that he's having probably a better camp than what national media is saying. Maybe not the best camp, but this is his first camp with this team, with this offense. He's still learning Terry McLaurin because Terry McLaurin, sat out OTAs for the contract. So there's still some chemistry getting there. So I think that we're gonna see some of that. Now,
and why do we have to put a narrative on what his training camp has been, or what Jalen Hurts' camp has been, or what who's that donk in Pittsburgh? Mitch Trubisky. Why do we have to put a narrative on their camp so far? Because it means nothing.
The people they're throwing to probably won't even be there on Sundays when it matters. So it's like
we can talk about what they do day in and day out, good and bad, just like Nathan was saying. We can give the reports. You can give opinions on how he's looked. All of it means nothing. We don't have to have this narrative either way until it comes to the regular season and you get a 1-loss record next to the team. Then you can start saying, okay, maybe camp was an indication of how the season went, or the camp means absolutely nothing. We say this all the time. When it comes to the real bullets are flying, that's when we're going to know what he is as a quarterback. And the same with all the quarterbacks on all the teams. So just kind of let it play out. We're starving for football, so we want to make these big declarative statements about what's going on. Just relax and let's let it play out.
These same ones that are pointing out his flaws are the same ones running up to the rope to get his autograph at training camp. So I don't want to hear that. So
get his autograph, get the pictures. I'm going to touch on this one real quick from Yam as well. Anyone notice how there has been like no noise coming out of Indy training camp either? Like the only things I have seen from camps making news is Washington and Philly. I've seen a lot of news coming out from various camps. Dallas was making the rounds just a few days ago because Dak was sacked like 3 times in one play, and the fans were getting mad at them. You've seen Philadelphia bad passes. You've seen Justin Fields bad passes. You've seen Dan Jones bad passes.
I've seen a lot about Indy too.
Yeah, Indianapolis, I think the big news is Matt Ryan hasn't been throwing interceptions. He's been looking good. And I'm putting that in quotations for our audio listeners. But I have my doubts, right? This reminds me of, the preseason. Washington went 4-0. We thought that things were going good. Stoner remembers this.
I remember that too.
Danny Werfel.
Yep. And everyone thought this is it. The old ball coach has figured out the NFL and they're going to just absolutely smoke them. And then it was an awful season.
And plus all of that information that you're not getting, it's because it's not in your orbit. It's not in your world. Your world is Washington. And a little bit out from that is the NFC East because that's relevant to Washington. I mean, of course, have you heard one thing about give me a team. The
Texans.
Dolphins, the Texans.
Yeah, I have.
You've heard maybe one blurb from 2.5 weeks of camp for all these other teams, right? You just don't hear about these things because it's not in your orbit because you don't care. I don't care what's going on in Patriots camp, and I don't care what's going on in Broncos camp or Seahawks.
I don't even care what's going on in Philly Giants or Cowboys camp.
But I'm just saying, in general, when people don't hear what's going on in these other camps, is because it's just not in your orbit. Well, if you follow the beat reporters on Twitter, if you follow 17 different beat reporters,
tweeter,
like we all follow 17 different Washington beat reporters, then you're going to get all of that. And like I said, you'll get a little bit of that NFC East because that's kind of close to this world. So that's why you don't necessarily hear all those things. And you might just hear about what Nathan was talking about when Dak gets sacked on three times on one play, basically, and Trayvon Diggs is getting burned
by nobody. By nobody.
Or Kyle Hamilton is
man deleted his Twitter.
He did.
Say he was like, it's toxic. No, bro, you just can't handle the heat, man. You can't handle the heat.
Well, because it is toxic. Let's not.
Twitter can't. Twitter can definitely be toxic. That's
had Twitter the day before. Okay.
Yeah. And it was toxic, and he had added enough of that.
The timing of it was pretty bad. One of the camps that you might be paying attention to, I'm going to slight detour here to take a question from Pro Health Central here.
Yeah.
Is the Chicago camp because Raquan Smith
I'll take him.
demanded a trade
right now.
Is this something Pro Health Central asks us, do you think we should trade for Raquan Smith?
Before you answer that, Trev, that's a Pro Health Central. That's just kind of like a weird, like to be in a Washington Commanders.
Hey, we'll take
podcast.
it. We appreciate PHC. We'll take PHC watching us all day.
Is it DEA Ryan? Is that who that is? Is that DEA Ryan? DEA Ryan?
DEA. Okay. Hey, could be, man.
I don't know. Do we make a trade for Raquan Smith?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I'm gonna go no.
Dumped.
Nah, don't do it. It's no point.
Stoner, you're gonna go opposite of us?
I mean,
if you look at it, do you want Roquan Smith in your lineup playing football?
Oh, sure.
A billion times out of a billion. But do you want to pay the price for what it's going to take to get him, which is probably going to be a starter and a draft pick? And he makes $17 million this year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's a free agent at the end of the year. So you might be getting a 1-year rental because you're going to have to pay him probably 20-something million next year.
Nah,
Are you willing to pay that for a linebacker, in which the linebackers, kind of like running backs, have been de-emphasized in the NFL? Linebackers have been kind of de-emphasized. You see,
unless you're Von Miller or Bobby Wagner, but
yeah, I mean,
outside of them,
there's definitely a couple, but they're specialized, right? They're ones that can go after the quarterback, or they're rangy ones that can cover.
And he's that guy. He's that dude.
He's an all-pro linebacker.
You want him on your team, but do you want to pay the price for what it takes to get to him?
Get rid of David Miracle for him. He's a starter.
Yeah, well, yeah.
A lot of people are with EP on this one, saying that they would give up Daron Payne.
I wouldn't do
that. Let that man ball out this year and go get him a contract for somewhere else next year.
That's honestly where a lot of people and that's probably not the worst trade asset to give, because you're like Corey talks about, you're going to have to pay them, right? So you can kind of do this. So, because here's the thing, this organization isn't, as Stoner mentioned, going to trade away a player and some draft assets to not sign him. Right, you're going to want that long term. This isn't a team that's looking for a 1-year rental. They're not. Their Super Bowl window isn't that tight. They're just not. That's why I don't think that they should trade for him. Let that situation play out. Chicago probably doesn't end up trading him anyways.
Probably not.
You might hit up free agency next year, and then maybe you can roll the dice and get him there. But
there you go. See, we just solved the problem right there.
Here we go.
We just settled it.
The answer is no. Do not trade for
next year. That's right.
Back on Commanders camp here. Another one of the things we've been tracking rather closely was Curtis Samuel's play, no play, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not he's practicing or not practicing. Now, we talking about practice here, not the game. Practice. Trev, he was at practice today, and he was moving around. How did he look?
Like he's ready to go week 1. Like he torched us when we played them the last time we did before we got him on our side.
And he said that ready, too, right? He said he promises. He said, I guarantee I'll be there week 1. Yeah, he said that. So,
and he interviewed with JP after practice today. I caught that a little bit on Twitter, and he said 21 was more mental than physical, and he's putting that behind him, and he wants to get back to what got him here, like the player he was. He said some cool quote. I forgot what it was. I have to go back and look at it, but yeah, I mean, he was out there running around, flying around, catching, not showing any what's the word, favor to his injury or anything like that. Like he's diving all over the place, hitting the ground, no pads still, making contested catches. So he's fast. He's so fast.
Stoner, you were out on him just last week. He missed 4 practices in a row. I think it was 3 practices and an off day, right?
Yeah.
But he's been hitting these practices lately. What do you think of this change?
Good for him. You practiced. Good job, man. You're doing what everybody else on the team does every single day. Finally. No, I'm still pretty much out until he can prove it to me, right? I mean, okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a hypothetical. Trev, I'm going to ask you first. If Terry McLaurin was missing this sort of time that Curtis Samuel's missing, would you have a problem with it?
No.
Nathan, would you have a problem with it?
It's practice, right? So who?
Okay, so you're both no's.
Yeah,
that's fair. Why?
Because Nathan's about to get that fence answer. You know him. He goes both.
I know, right?
straddle the fence. This is a veteran player, right?
Why would I not have a problem?
Yeah, why would you not have a problem with Terry McLaurin missing the kind of practice that Curtis Samuel's been missing?
Because he's our prized possession on offense outside of quarterback.
Okay, fair.
You've seen him produce.
Yeah, you know
what he's capable of.
Yes.
That's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Right? You know what Terry McLaurin can do because it year in and year out. Curtis Samuel hasn't done that here.
bro.
He doesn't build that equity.
But the reason why we have him is what he's done to us personally and in the league. Rio said it. He's the original Deebo Samuel. He really is.
Yeah.
So we already know what he has.
The OG Samuel.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he hasn't proved he's capable of. He hasn't put up big seasons. Look, he's had some big games, especially against us. I mean, his biggest season was like 800 yards or something like that receiving. So, but he just hasn't built up that equity with this organization. So therefore, I'm still out on him until he proves otherwise. I gotta move this cat. This cat's gonna turn off.
We got cats galore here in the chat. People are noting that Kobe's right behind Trev's head. You can barely see it. You can kind of see him licking and the ears in the background. But
sorry.
I think I'm not out on as much as you are is because Ron Rivera is the coach and he knows Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why I'm like.
Is it like what Corey says here in the chat? I think they're not trying to show too much when it comes to Samuels because of all of the role he'll be playing. He'll be lined up all over the field.
I think
that's part of it.
That's a good spin. That's
probably like 25%, but I think it's honestly because of his groin injury because he's fast and he's a receiver and like you need your legs and that speed in order to be where he wants to be. So
I'm praying.
They have a plan.
I'm praying that he proves me wrong.
He will prove you wrong.
I hope he does. And
he's going to play on Saturday too. You'll see.
I'll eat my crow and all. He's not playing Saturday.
He's playing Saturday.
Zero. And by the way,
you want to bet $1 on it?
I'll put $1 on right now. He plays. It's Carolina. He's playing.
Yam.
Why wouldn't he play?
As EP said, Yam. By the way, don't worry about it. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, we appreciate all the comments coming through.
He hasn't played in the year.
They're not going to risk that. They're not going to risk that.
He can line up and he don't have to catch the ball. He can run a route.
Look what Jacksonville did in that first game. They had like 15 starters who were not playing in the first game. He's not going to play.
Because they got 4 games.
He can't even practice. He's going to play
who have the Hall of Fame game. The teams that have the Hall of Fame game have an extra game.
Oh, that's true. Good call.
Yeah, they'll play on Saturday. Our offense, Curtis Samuel is playing on Saturday. Zach Selby last night on Full Press Coverage, me and George Carmi said he looks for the offense to play 2 to 3 series this Saturday.
But not
we'll get to that. We'll get to that too.
Is Chase Rouillet going to play?
No, but Curtis Samuel is. You got it. Why not, bro? You got to see him at game speed, like you said.
Here's what you're going to do with Curtis Samuel. Okay, you're going to have him run probably 6 routes, and he's not going to be. If he's out on the field, I would be shocked if they run the ball. They're not going to let him block, right? They're just going to. I'll put $1 on it.
$1. He has one catch for 7 yards on Saturday, right there.
Not only, I mean, can I get another $1 on that? If he does play and I lose my $1, can I bet $1 he doesn't get a catch?
Yes, you can. Okay.
No, I just don't think he's going to play.
I'm not going to do $1 on a catch, but he's going to be out there.
Terry's going to be out there. Jahan's going to be out there. Diami.
Curtis Samuel's out there too.
Yam says Curtis needs reps against coverage. I know people are like injury, but he needs the work, even if it's only 1 to 2 sets of downs.
Thank you.
Practice. Do it in practice first.
No, that's what preseason's for. We're playing the who? Who are we playing Saturday?
Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely gonna play. It's Carolina.
See, here's Richmond. I love Richmond John. He's awesome, by the way. He asked JP Finley if the ramping up and back down is a Samuel and his agent thing or Commander's thing. No answer. And B. Mitch said it's an uncommon approach. Friends with the trainer, for what it's worth. And I believe I said this last year. Maybe it was in the off season, whenever. My sources have said the guy doesn't love football. The guy got his money and he's content. Okay, that doesn't mean he's not going to play, and that doesn't mean he's not going to do well. But he just doesn't have the desire.
Get that music, Nathan.
Be great.
That conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy theory.
That sounds like a conspiracy.
You can call it a conspiracy theory. I call it a source. All right. So
your source is the conspiracy.
we got another source information coming up a little bit, but I want to keep it on the field. We've talked about 2 of the 3 receivers so far. Let's talk about our rookie receiver, Jahan Dotson. Trev, you said that he and a lot of the media is talking about him. Logan Paulson said this just today, or maybe it was yesterday. He's the best wide receiver out in training camp right now. Better than our man Terry.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you see? Co-sign Logan Paulson there?
Yeah, because you see a little rust with Terry. The chemistry is not there with Carson as it is with Jahan and Carson. Jahan's had a little extra advantage with that, OTAs, the camp out in California too as well, mini camps, all that stuff. But, I mean, Terry and Carson definitely look better than they did day one of training camp, but that chemistry with Jahan and Carson has been there since day one of training camp. And he's Terry Jr. His route running is ridiculous. The dude has hands of a baseball glove. Like, it's just, he catches everything. Like, it's just,
and that's nothing but good news.
Yeah,
for not just the team specifically. That's good for Terry, believe it or not. It's
good
that
he's going
to have a lot of less pressure. And as we talked about, he might have less catches, but his catches are going to be more impactful because he's not going to have 3 guys on him
and I noticed
having to go up and get him all the time.
I noticed, at least from today and highlights and stuff, it seems like they're using Terry as their deep guy, more of a deep threat this go round, and having Jahan kind of do something similar what Terry was doing last year and year before, running those intermediate routes, those posts, those fades, those drags, slants, all that stuff, and then to have an opportunity to run without after the catch. That's what I've seen so far. So
yeah, when healthy, this 1-2-3 punch of wide receivers is one of the faster.
Everybody's fast.
In the league.
The whole group, minus Cam Sims, is fast.
Minus Cam.
I don't think Dax Milne is a speedster.
That's kind of fast.
Yeah,
he's a punt returner for a reason. That's speed.
He runs a good route, is what he does. He runs a good route. That's as much as I'll give you there. There was one other thing that happened at camp today, and that was the scuffle between Shaka Toney and Curtis Hodges. You did not get to see it.
It was way over there.
It was. I hear it was rather small, and it was Shaka Toney didn't like the way that Hodges blocked him, ripped off Hodges' helmet. But then that was it. Yeah, that was
Samus Reyes was in there. They said,
Samus Reyes and Montez Sweat got in there. Yeah, Samus Reyes he's not as tall as some of the other, but that dude's jacked.
We got a bunch of jacked dudes on our squad. I'm not gonna lie.
The kicker is jacked. Like,
I mean, Joey Sly, you would think he's an arm wrestler or like a professional wrestler turned kicker. I don't know,
looks
bro.
Looks like he could play linebacker if it wasn't for that injury he had last year.
No wonder he's trying to make that tackle. Imagine if he caught that returner. He probably would demolish that dude.
He'd have pummeled that dude. Except for the old hamstring going poop.
Yep. Boop.
Yeah. Boop. Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal. Those things happen all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the other news to come out of camp this week was the firing of Sam Mills III, the defensive line coach, something that we kind of said was probably going to happen this year.
Yeah.
It actually happened this close to preseason game 1.
Yeah.
A little odd on the timing.
Very odd.
Stoner, what do you make of it? And I know that you got a source here. Why don't you hit us with that?
Yeah. And a lot of people have probably already heard a lot of this. First of all, it is very, very, very odd timing. And I have a theory about that I'd like to throw by y'all after I tell you about what the source has said. The source has said, basically, and I've confirmed this. Let me just say it, 2 sources. I confirmed it with a second source.
It's a lot of sources right now.
They have said that Sam Mills, that the players could not stand.
Yep,
Sam
I heard.
Mills.
I'll piggyback that. My boy Daryl Jackson from today made that same exact comment.
Could not stand Sam Mills, and this
John Allen is on tape today saying that he and Sam were
captain. What's he supposed to say?
By the way, Nathan, Jonathan Allen could not stand Sam Mills. Jonathan Allen was, I don't want to say the ringleader of the group that didn't like him, but being that he's the captain, he did not like Sam Mills. And so there was that conflict there. And that's, I think, eventually what ultimately led to the firing. Now, here's my theory, okay? Last year, we had heard these things. The defensive lines had fights in the locker rooms, right? We had heard that. Actual physical fights, not pushing and shoving, fist fights in the locker room, right? They had the stuff on the sidelines that defensive linemen were doing. So we've known about the disconnect really with the defensive line. And again, you've got these 4 first-rounders and all that, and they're not performing well, right? Yep. We heard from J.P. Finley in January when J.P. Finley said he would not be surprised if Sam Mills is not back in 2022. And he did come back. Ron is a very loyal guy, right? You can just look at his front office, look at his coaching staff, look at all these players with they're called the Commanders for a reason. Yep. He's very loyal to all these people. And I think he probably should have fired Sam Mills at the end of the year, but he's too loyal to him. Sam Mills has been with them since 2011, right? Mm-hmm. He's been with them all these years. So he's very loyal to them, and he didn't want to fire him. So this is what I think happened. This is just complete theory, and tell me what you guys think. When he went away for a couple of days, right, to
Hall of Fame,
to the Hall of Fame ceremony for his father, right? One of those days was an off day anyway. So really he was gone for like one day, which was Saturday before this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? I think the team, the defensive line, went to either Jack or Ron and said, look, we can't do this anymore. We can't have Sam Mills as our coach anymore. We just can't do it. We can't take it. We're underperforming because we don't believe in his philosophies. And then when Sam came back, Ron had to tell him. He said, we can't have this anymore, right? And a lot of people will say that, hey, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Just don't worry about the whole coaching thing, right? But you, all of us here, have been in situations in a job and how much that we love our job and we wanted to be able to play or we want to be able to do our job very well. But if we have coworkers or if we have bosses that we just can't stand, we're going to underperform at that job.
For sure.
No matter how good we are or no matter how well we
happy people are productive people.
Right. So I think that they just said, look, we just can't do this anymore. We can't keep butting heads. And I've heard in the meeting rooms, there were almost physical fights with the coaches and the players on the defensive line. So I think it just came to a head, and Ron just finally had to say, look, I love you, dude. You've been with me for 11 years, but we got to do it. We just have to because the defensive line is not performing to what it should be.
And that's my theory. They did come out and say that, or Ron came out and originally said that it was a difference of opinion. You can say that Sam Mills saw himself as employed and Ron saw him as unemployed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trev, what's your take on the situation?
See ya. Corey's comment about, if you can bring that back up again, about Mills never played professionally. My boy Daryl Jackson told me that same thing too. He said he did the research, found out that he never played professionally. So how did he have a job? And he thinks,
I don't necessarily believe in that, but okay. That's fair.
I mean, it's fair. And also maybe his father had a role into him being the coaching for this long. I don't know, just something like that. Because
some of like nepotism that you see.
Yeah, but like today, you saw the difference in the energy today. Like I remember there was during, I guess on the far field, either 9-on-9s or 7-on-7, something like that. And the defensive line was on the sideline. It was Payne, Mathis, Allen, and maybe Sweat over like by themselves, working with Coach Z. He had the arm thing on, and they were doing the rip moves just by themselves, like asking him, engaging, like, and he was giving energy back. You just see the difference today already. And he walked through the tunnel on the way out or whatever, and people were like, congratulations, Coach Z. And he was like, thanks, like very business. That dude's jacked too. Like, I'm telling y'all, monster, he wore his little brother's shirt and shorts today because that man was like,
he's showing it off.
And he walks like, he's like, but nah, like, so Sam Mills, probably a great guy. I mean, you guys found that clip. Somebody interviewed him Monday after practice.
Yeah, that was Linnell.
But the way if you after this
Linnell.
and after saying this, you go back and watch that, his whole demeanor in that interview, you coach monsters of men, okay? You should have some kind of fire. Like Jim Tom Sula, he might not have been great, but he had that fire. Dan Campbell is the Lions head coach. He has that fire. Robert Saleh, he has that fire. Our defensive line coach was yeah, man, I'm really happy where Chase is with his rehab. It's going great. I'm excited for this year.
My counter argument to that is Joe Gibbs, right?
Oh, okay.
What are you going to do?
A long time ago.
Belichick gets fired up when things don't go his
but
way.
Also Belichick never played professional football.
Oh, yeah. Oh, as
he's also a genius.
Yeah. And
so
that's one thing. And so,
be that, but
on that particular comment there, right? You have to. It's not about necessarily having played at that superior level, as Doug had brought up, and Jonathan Allen does mention about learning from those who have played at the highest level. Here's the thing, though: you also just have to coach at the highest level, right? You have to coach people to their highest level, and that was something that I don't think we were seeing from Sam Mills consistently, right? And I think that kind of got there. I don't mind a mild manner demeanor because, again, Coach Joe Gibbs mild mannered, right? But you do kind of want, when you're talking about your players, you want to see some passion coming from that.
Fire. I mean, look, Warren Sapp's been with the squad for 2 weeks, and that man's got more fire already from just working with them for 3 days a week for 2 weeks, more than our coach. He's telling us more about the defensive line than what Sam Mills has ever even making them show or even say. So get him out of here.
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, right? If this defensive line starts showing out, then we're going to say, well, we can see where the problem was. But if it's the same thing, then
Jack Del Rio is next.
Well, no. Then you start saying, okay, you zip it. It's you. It's not the coaching.
Right.
Because we've replaced your coach. Yeah. So maybe it's you. Maybe you start to look in the mirror a little bit.
Trade the whole damn line then if that happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do you think Sam Mills played a part in Tim Settle leaving the team?
I thought he played a part.
Ioannidis too, as well.
Ioannidis. Mm-hmm. I've heard he and Ioannidis did not get along.
Ioannidis still has HTTR in his Twitter profile. I thought that was he says Carolina Panther lineman, but then he has HTTR after that. I thought I was like, yo, that's dope.
But doesn't that kind of make sense when you could have basically had him for the same price that he's in Carolina, right?
Yeah. We'll see him Saturday.
So you could have had him for the same price, but you got rid of him. You cut him, right? Why? Because he wasn't productive? I mean, he was productive.
He was.
There was obviously something there with the coach. Now, Settle's different because it was his choice.
Right.
He was his choice to leave.
But maybe that's why, because
for Ioannidis, he didn't have a choice. So I think, again, that was button heads. You could have had him for a cheap price, basically, for Ioannidis. So I don't know.
Well, now
we're going to find out real quick, I think, seeing how the defensive line performs. And if they're still the same, then you just got to say it's the players. We overdrafted guys, whatever. So we'll see.
Well, some of those people that we drafted are making noise on the first unofficial depth chart. That includes Jahan Dotson being listed as a starting wide receiver. So he is starting alongside Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin. The first depth chart, let's get this out of the way, doesn't mean anything.
That's why it's unofficial.
Doesn't mean anything. But is there any nuggets that you guys liked to see during this? I know our listeners, or especially our avid ones, are going to talk about Wes Schweitzer there being the backup right guard. They love themselves some Schweitzer. But is there anything that you guys really noticed here in that first unofficial depth chart?
No,
I didn't see any. Yeah, I didn't see anything sort of glaring. that stood out with the depth chart. Nothing that scares you, nothing that jumped out at us, right? Especially when most of us are really tuned into what's going on, like we talked about before. We didn't see anything that made you say, well, wait a minute, I thought so-and-so was playing bad, or I thought so-and-so was playing better and they should have been higher. I didn't see really anything that concerned me or jumped out at me, really.
They had Sam Howell as quarterback 3, which I thought was just
we know you love some Sam Howell.
Like that was just.
Wait,
I mean, I know it's unofficial, so I'm not that worried about it. But like, just seeing him at quarterback 3 was like, I thought that was supposed to be quarterback 2. But
is he doing a bit?
He's doing a bit.
He's doing a bit.
You don't think I'm doing a bit? You think I'm doing a bit?
Doing a bit?
Am I or am I not?
I don't know.
Trev loves himself some Sam Howell. Bad news for EP as Jarrett Patterson is behind Jonathan Williams in this. Not bad news for me, but Samus Reyes is ahead of Curtis Hodges, Armani Rogers, Eli Wolf, and Alex Arma. He's listed just behind
he's on this team.
Cole Turner. Eli Wolf was a recent signing, so that was not there. Mm-hmm. There might be a little bit worry for me. Sadiq Charles listed as Sam Cosme's backup right now.
Sadiq Charles is not making this team. I'm telling you right now. He's getting cut. Sadiq Charles is not making this team. He's been an absolute disappointment. He's in his third year?
Third or fourth year at this point.
Right. And he still can't even crack a starting lineup as a
he was starting his first year, or like off the bench his first year, and then ruined his knee, and he has
in one play. And he wasn't starting, and I think he started for somebody who had gotten hurt, and he went in for like one play.
That's right. Yeah, the Giants game,
and got hurt. So yeah, I don't think he even makes the team. I think
I thought his best chance would be as a guard, not as a tackle, which is why I kind of find it a little bit surprising there. Nothing really shines here on the defense outside of they only lists the linebacker core. It's not like a left or right, it's just middle and outside. I think that kind of points to the fact that they like to do a 2-set. Jamin Davis is listed as the starting linebacker there.
Well,
Khalid Hudson is behind him. Yeah, but you've been hearing a lot about in camp. He's not been playing with the one, so it's good to see him listed there.
I think that was only in certain sets, by the way, that he wasn't playing with the ones. He's the starting outside linebacker for sure, and they're definitely doing. You can call it Buffalo nickel, whatever you want to call it. They're definitely doing a 4-2, 4-2-5, or they're going to do a 5-2-4, whatever. They're going to have either a third corner like St. Just, or they're going to have a third safety, or they're going to have a fifth defensive lineman. They're only going to play 2 linebackers for probably 90% of the defensive snaps. So, yeah. So worrying about, bringing in another linebacker, I think we should probably just forget that.
I mean, they did. Nathan Gary from the Eagles.
Yeah, but they didn't bring anybody that's going to come in and
not a big name. No one that's really.
He almost had a pick today, but he dropped it in the end zone.
Well, that's why he's Nathan.
That's
Gary.
why we were able to pick him up this.
But he was in the spot to make the play. David Mayo's never been in that spot. Miracle Whip. Ooh.
Yeah, you said
got to stick with your bit
Miracle
there.
Whip.
Alec Erickson is listed as the front runner for kick returner and punt returner. So Trev, you got a little leg up on that battle. Dax Milne is listed as the backup, and then of course nobody else on that list is going to make the team. So it'll be interesting to see where that lies. Again, nothing really to take from this because it's
just for Saturday.
It's just the first one. This is, we'll see a lot of changes for that. And of course, as I mentioned, we will have a 53-man roster breakdown with other content creators. Make sure you stay tuned for that because it is a great show. And you get a lot of smart people coming on here on Ref the District, giving their takes on certain positions. Let's see if we have any more. When Jamin Davis wasn't in with the ones. They were practicing different packages. Yeah, that's what we've been hearing as well. This is Charles's third year, right? So why wouldn't you pay him close to zero for depth?
That's fair. That's totally fair. But I mean, he's just not producing.
Save your money.
As a third rounder, he should be starting by now.
Or coming off the bench right away.
Yeah.
So be the first option off the bench.
But you're right. I mean, he's depth, but is he good enough depth? Is he good enough? Is he better than Chris Paul, or is he better than guys I can't even think of right now who we picked up, or undrafted free agents even, or seventh rounders, whatever? Is he better than them? Who knows? But he's been a disappointment, that's for sure.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad that they got him in the fourth. I mean, I was really excited because the talk on him was that he was a first round talent.
Yeah.
Hasn't really lived up to that. So hasn't lived up to that. So, but we'll see where he
Thaddeus Moss was supposed to be something too, and look where he's at.
Well, I think most people expected that one not to really pan out. That's why he was an undrafted free agent. I think fans were a little bit more excited than the scouts or coaches. We're gonna come back from the and into the cool down. We're gonna just talk about the preseason game coming up, and then hit Stoner's grab bag. That's all coming up here on Ref the District. All right, welcome to the cool down here on Ref the District, our flagship program. We stream live every Wednesday at 7:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Here on the cool down, we're going to be talking about the preseason game coming up. Namely, one, we're not going to be doing anything too crazy with this, but how much of the starters do you want to see, Trev, for
2 to 3
this
series.
first game? 2 to 3 series? Why is that?
We got some shiny toys. I want to see what we're working with. Just give me a little glimpse. I don't want to see nothing crazy, no trick plays. I just want to see a nice 3-step slant for Curtis Samuel. I want to see one bomb to Terry just to show that, we can do it. And then I want to see what AG can do. I mean, then sit down. That's it.
Stoner, how much do you want to see the starters playing? Because there's a lot of people are talking, and I think I saw Kyle mention this from the Burgundy Zone. He said, don't even start them and don't play them at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm old school, right? Obviously, right? I'm old school. And I think that they should play quite a bit because coaches, if coaches had their druthers, they'd play them like a half, right? Because they need the work. They need it. They're one less preseason game now. And the fans love that. We love that we don't have to endure a fourth preseason game, right? Where it's just not worth our time and effort and everything. But coaches are dying for that extra preseason game if they could get it. But they just can't get it. And so I would play them as much as possible. But that's not how the modern NFL works. So 1 or 2 series at most. And I only want to see Carson drop back maybe 3 times. And that's it. I don't want any bombs to McLaurin. I don't want, McLaurin running down, and pulling a hamstring or whatever. I just want a couple of short passes and then move along. It used to be all the nubbers like Sam Howell.
It used to be when there's the 4 games, right? That the first game you played your starters maybe like a series, maybe 2 series. The second game they played like a quarter. The third they played a half, and then the fourth they didn't play at all. That was just like your no-namers. Pardon me here, getting all the action. How does it work now with the 3 games? Because we've only had this now. This is the second season. So of this. So I'm interested to see if there's going to be a similar flow that eventually builds with that. Do you see in the first game, do we see them for 2 series? Is the second game the game where you're going to see them for a half? And then the third game, the third game, maybe you don't play them.
Last year, the third game they didn't play, and the starters did not play at all. It was
you saw what happened in the last time we did that against the Ravens. You saw what happened to the Ravens. And
was that J.K. Dobbins? Was that
and Gus Edwards? They lost all running backs.
Yeah,
they had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, that's the risky take, man. I don't know.
They go hard in preseason. They play their starters like a lot.
Doug says play them as long as the other team plays their ones. I disagree. Do not let the other team dictate what you do. You dictate what they do.
Yeah,
you dictate that. Corey says 3 series tops.
Okay, I probably agree with that.
3 series if they don't score on the first 2.
Yeah, I would say a quarter of play maximum is what I would say. And I'm good with dropping back, but it's going to be a vanilla offense and it's going to be a vanilla defense. You're just going to see they're not going to try to get too wild here because they're literally just kind of trying to get into game action.
Yeah.
But you still want them to go through those motions and those game time things here. Sam Howell, Tommy T says, give Sam Howell the entire third game.
I agree.
Probably his. It is probably his.
Cole Kelly's gone. Were you guys surprised when Cole Kelly got cut?
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought they would keep him around a little bit longer,
just for that third preseason game.
Make him a practice squad guy because you're going to keep Sam Howell on the 53-man roster. But I guess Sam Howell's just been so good.
Lighting it up. I'm telling you
that fourth QB wasting around.
I don't think he's going to be on the 53. By the way,
Sam Howell?
No, I don't think so.
I'll bet you $1 right now.
I bet you $1 right now.
They might have. They might have to.
He's a fifth-round pick.
That statement.
Yeah,
but that's a valuable spot that they're giving.
3 quarterbacks. Look. We have Carson Wentz. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Taylor Heineke.
Right.
We need 3 quarterbacks. COVID's still a thing. Apparently, I don't know if that's going to be a thing for the NFL, but
I'm not saying they're going to cut him. I mean, I'm saying that obviously
to make the practice squad, they'd have to cut him. You know that, right?
Right. That's you know what I mean. Right. I'm not saying they're just going to say bye-bye and never talk to him again.
Stoner gets mad when we take him so literally. It's weird. But Doug asks, is playing your 1s against 2s productive?
Right.
Yes, it is. Okay, because you're just going through the motions.
See a lot of 2s.
Again,
the
the idea here is you're not looking for the stats, right? You're not looking, Terry just absolutely burned some guy who's probably not going to be, playing, 25% of the snaps. That's not what it's about. It's about, did they run the routes right? Did the pass blocking do what it was supposed to? Those are the things you're checking here. So it is absolutely worth it to play your 1s against their 2s, just avoid injuries. As P-Dub probably loves Howell more than even Trev.
Nah,
my guy before we traded for wins.
I love Howell more.
You guys will have to duke it out there. Yam says, I really worry about depth on this team as a whole, especially after the debacle of last season. I love saying it that way.
I love debacle.
Debacle.
The debacle of last season. Yeah, I mean, they were down to their 5th center. That's one of the things that I think, we love seeing. I think most fans probably don't enjoy that last preseason game where there's a bunch of backups. I enjoy it because I like to see who is, who's going to be coming in if or when there's an injury. Yes, Trev.
Does Jeremy Reeves make this team?
No.
He's been through 3 coaching stints.
I'll be honest. I forgot Jeremy Reeves is still on this team. You've heard nothing from
He's
him.
had a couple.
He made a big play last week.
Yeah,
he's had a couple picks.
See there, what you just said.
Yeah,
he made a play last week. 1 play a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that usually
he's clearly 3rd team.
Yeah,
and I don't think
he
they're going to
survived all these coaching changes.
Yeah, they like him. They like him, but he's not making it over Percy. He's obviously, we've got Cam Curl and Bobby McCain as the starters, and then I think they're going to keep Forrest as the guy that they drafted, and I don't think they're going to keep a 5th safety. But like I said, we're gonna have a 53-man roster breakdown, and I forget who's on safeties, but we'll let them decide, and we might have to make something here.
Let me tell you real quick.
Who is it? Yeah, who's? And then we'll get to Tommy T's question.
I can tell you who the safeties belongs to. First String Podcast, Toothpick.
All right, Toothpick and the gang will tell us who they're picking for the safeties. So we'll have to pick their brain when it comes to that. Tommy asks, have we heard anything about the voting this Saturday for the mascot? They are going to unveil the song. We did talk about which versions we liked and whether or not we liked it. It's going to be lackluster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Trev, where do you stand on? Oh, yeah. It's going to be, I think most fans will probably find that it falls flat of their desires.
Probably.
Trev, you with me on that one?
I'm with you. I just want to play some football. I don't give a damn about a song.
I know. I hear you. And don't forget, the game is at 1:00. It's again another odd thing. You wouldn't think on a Saturday
that's cool though.
At 1:00. So they're going to play at 1:00 in the afternoon, and we're going to be doing Day After Reckoning on Sunday, right?
We are. Day After Reckoning makes its return. We'll break down what we see in there. We'll talk about that song and whether or not they have anything on the mascot, which is coming.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on the mascot.
Haven't heard anything. I know that it's next on the fan voting, so they might be unveiling some of the options, but they won't unveil the actual the mascot there. All right, let's hit that grab bag. Stoner, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, I've got just a couple of things. Nothing big here. Have you guys gotten over the whole Juan Soto thing yet?
Oh,
is it gone? Is it kind of over?
That reminds me.
Oh, what? What, you got a picture of Juan?
Trev's got something to bring up here.
Yeah, I tried to send that to you in the DM earlier, and you said it wouldn't show up.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
So the caption said, "Oh no, Soto."
Oh, did he misplay a ball?
Oh yeah, he did misplay a ball. He's never been the best fielder.
He hasn't. He's been a fine fielder. He has not been
I didn't say bad. I said he hasn't been the best. Yeah.
He's a good fielder. He's not. He's like an average fielder.
He's not a defensive liability necessarily, although in that particular play he was. I'm not necessarily over it, but that's also because I've definitely been more following the development, the Nationals development Twitter. But these guys you're not going to see play for years, and it's disappointing. And you got just you're fielding a horrible team right now. It's just bad. It's just so bad. So I'm not over it yet.
Yeah, I put out there that who's going to win more games this year, the Nets or the Nats, and the Nets only get 82 chances, where the Nats get 162 chances. They might not win 50 games this year, and that's historically bad. But I was just wondering because they already played today, so the team's record since he got there, 2-5. They're 2-5 since he got there. They went
like how many innings without scoring a run? Like
23? Yeah, they weren't good for a little while. But they've won 2 in a row. They lost his first 5 when he got there. But he's tearing it up.
He's been doing
10 for 28 since he's got there. Now he's only got 1 home run and 1 RBI, but 10 for 28, that's really good. So that's probably
almost
360 average or something. That's insanely good. So he's been good. I was just wondering if you guys have, gotten over the whole thing. Don't forget, next weekend, Padres at Nationals next weekend.
Great.
All right. And then the only other thing I have here is, did you all happen to see? I was going to bring up the actual photo real quick if I can. But did you see that FedEx or the Washington Commanders applied for a gaming license in FedEx Field?
Yeah, Dan Snyder came out. First time I think he talked since the name change, right? First public speaking since the name change. And he was just like, we finally have a quarterback.
Yeah, he said that publicly.
Yeah, by the way, I have to say, Rooster's been a little bit, Chris Russell's been disappointing me lately with some of his takes. One, he he battered Dan Snyder. There's a lot of things to batter Dan Snyder about. Okay. There's a lot of things to be mad about him, but being mad that he said that, we finally have a QB, not one of them. And the other thing is the Sam Mills firing. He was just like, oh, there's never a good time to fire somebody, but he went to the Hall of Fame game and had his dad, like a thing for his dad. And it was just like, what do you want them to fire him? They decided a change needed to be made, Rooster. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So been a little disappointed with the Rooster. Normally good content coming from him, but that one definitely was kind of.
But I want to share this with you all real quick. As part of that process of gaining a license for FedEx Field.
Yeah, what's that?
The gaming board, or I think it's the gaming board, and we're going to find out exactly here. It was the Maryland Lottery Board has to approve the license, and Dan Snyder is the one that applied for the license. And this is what the Maryland Gaming Board said. They said they spoke to him via Zoom on Monday morning regarding these issues. And the board said, after a thorough review of all the information provided on behalf of Maryland Stadium Sub LLC, blah, 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 and Mr. Snyder, following a personal interview, the staff is unable to substantiate any of the allegations against him, Mr. Snyder. Furthermore, Mr. Snyder is not currently under any investigation by any law enforcement agency or government entity, right? And it said that the applicant was found to have financial stability, integrity, and responsibility, and possesses the requisite good character, honesty, and integrity for a license. All of these things were said about Dan Snyder, and they meant it.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean you don't know about that?
I don't know that
they're staking their reputation as a gaming board on the things that they put out there in regards to Dan Snyder.
This is a money thing.
Case.
This is a money thing, right?
I just wanted to say
I don't want necessarily you to take that back. I want you to be able to put that thing back up here again, because I wanted to point out something. We'll talk about the content in it, but more importantly, I just wanted to note something here. You copied and pasted this from the article, right?
Right.
Is that the ad that we're looking at? The streamline. Yes. You could have deleted that prior.
Yes, I know. I could have gone into Photoshop and done all. I didn't feel like doing it. I just wanted.
I don't know. I doubt any of our other viewers here, obviously our audio listeners aren't going to pick up on this, but my man Stoner copied and pasted this article, kept the ad in the middle of all this instead of streamlining it, which by the way, the first word in
streamline your content with YJ.
So I just had it. I had to take note of that. The good thing to come from this, maybe some people might have some things against gambling. The good thing would be is that there's another location within Maryland that you'll be able to place in-person bets, right? Sports bets.
Gaming this whole time.
Well, it's because it is the gaming commission. It's for gambling. Okay. So it's going to be. They're going to have a sports book at FedEx Field. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. This was the hurdle that was cleared today, was to get them a sports book. Mind you, now that they've already cleared this is the interesting factor to me is does this maybe put Landover kind of front running for where the new stadium goes, because they already have the rights to a sports book to be placed there on that campus.
No.
Well, I mean, Virginia has gambling or whatever, has legalized gambling allowed there. So if that's all it takes is to have an investigation into the person applying for the license, and it's Dan Snyder, and they're talking about his honesty and integrity and financial responsibility, then I think anybody won't have a problem wherever they put the stadium of getting a license. I just thought that was comical that they put that statement out talking about how he has honesty and integrity and all that other stuff, and he's not under investigation, so we don't have any problems with it. Yeah, well, that was kind of just It just really stood out to me.
I love Tommy T's comment here. I'm gonna bring it up and talk to it here. Is it crazy that they had no problem talking to Dan when Congress did? It took forever for Congress to be able to get a hold of Dan Snyder. Gaming board Zoom call, not a problem.
Yep,
right
no
then and there.
Actually wasn't on a Zoom call. To be fair, he was on the phone because he was traveling and he didn't have the video capability. Shocker. He couldn't be seen on camera.
At least it was somewhat.
I don't even know if he exists anymore. I'm not.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sure, he actually
is
exists.
somewhat consistent,
right?
Well, yeah, my goodness. Well, enough about Dan Snyder. There is somebody else consistent, and that's Ref the District. We bring you this show every Wednesday at 7:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Be sure to check out some of our other content that we have on YouTube. We have an After the Whistle coming up with Tim Hightower. Go ahead and grab yourself a copy of his book. He is somebody you're going to want to listen to. Okay. The guy is very inspiring. Some great things coming from that After the Whistle. We're supposed to have Jen Leno on the books. We will be getting her. She's got some children. Understandably, we had to reschedule a couple times, but she'll be in After the Whistle coming up. Be sure to check out our one with Kenny Mayne. And until next time, be a fan.